Just a very quick video today. We have number 5, the Hierophant, which is also sometimes referred to as the High Priest or the Pope in other traditional symbolism. And the 5. So, from the change from the 4, which is about worldly order and rule, and law, we move to the 5, which is about the divine rule and order and logic and logos. Now I went with the two tarot decks I'm least familiar with, both alchemical. The Alchemist's Garden and the Alchemical Visions Tarot, and funnily enough, here we go, on the front of this book is this particular card. Just quickly, like, 5s are quite interesting to me. 5s are dynamic. 5s are power. 5s are energy. 5s are go. 5s are they're a force. Not necessarily super stable, so they seek something more. But it's definitely an energy current that gets stuff done, takes you places, and it's no different in this particular card. So the beautiful symbolism we have here, there's quite a lot. I've got these lovely figures whose heads have turned into these spheres, or orbiculum as they're sometimes called, which can also be the crystal globes that mediums and psychics use for divinatory purposes. I really love this mundanity of people in suits, and I think that was also shown in this particular card yesterday, with the Emperor was carrying some golf clubs. Like, the everyday world is so enmeshed in in these other worlds. They're interlaced. They're not overlaid. They're interlaced. Is at least how I perceive of it and experience it. We also have again, you'll notice certain featurings of the card will echo the number, and wonderfully in this card you've got 5, so you can see it in the essence of geometry. So we have, in 5 sides, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So whatever shape that makes a pentagon, let's go with that. But also, there are other ways of describing numbers, and we have 5 as the V in Roman numerals, and you'll also notice this lovely architectural shape within the card, which mirrors the V, which is really cool. Just little tidbits that I like and I see within things. I also really love this, on the bottom left of the card, this person with rolled up pieces of paper, using them as binoculars for vision against the person who is bound. His eyes are bound, and that's a Masonic ritual of initiation. And in many ways, I would say, kind of, the 5, the Hierophant, is a process or a part and a card representative of initiation. It's initiation into divine law, divine authority, divine wisdom. It's not so much of this earthly plane. It's in, I would say, in current times, for whatever reasons, the secular world without the divine has established, or tried to establish, a monopoly on wisdom, on truth, on law, on order, and somewhat understandably so when you look at previous systems that have gone under a religious banner in their measurement of those things into this world has seen and been lacking. But has the secular world done any better? Probably not, but that's just my feelings on it. The real part of the Hierophant is not necessarily the outer authority figure. It's the internal one. It's the your nature of relation with the wider spheres of knowledge, of understanding, of knowing what is right, knowing what is just, of divine intelligence, divine law. And there's no shortage of books and ideas and concepts that explore most of these things, and within pretty much all religious scriptures and teachings, the same truths are echoed. So I fancy that, it's like they're all speaking about the same things, just in different languages at different times to different people, which is fine, which is lovely. So yeah, and again, you've got this lovely kind of, like, as I was saying before, cards do these beautiful transitory things between, you've got these four figures here, and four ends to this key representing kind of, where we've come from, aspects of the four, and then the desire to progress, which is what tarot is about, progression of understanding and awareness, at least in my scope. It's a journey. Like, we're all on the journey, and we all get there at our own time, our own pace. And these are just tools to help us at certain points along there, and, and have practical usages of being able to assess current situations and patternings within an individual situation, and lead based on understanding of those energetic patternings as to what potential probable outcomes could be. Basically, that's how tarot works as a divinatory system. No more, no less. I would like to now introduce the Hierophant as a plant, which is called Psychotria viridis, or chacruna. Now, I have never heard of this plant before, but this is a South American plant, known to contain DMT, which is a sacred medicine, has risen into popularity with Western and more modern culture. A very, very powerful substance, but it's found in everything. It's found in the human system, and I think research came out to say that a lot of people who have near-death experiences, that DMT is naturally released within the brain. And the weird thing is, we have receptors for these plants. Like, we have grown and evolved as species with ability to learn, have experiences with plants that are really quite profound and powerful. So a few themes from this lovely book I will do a little read from. They talk about the Hierophant as consciousness, education, and teacher. And it's about, like, divine revelation, gaining divine revelation. And again, something I really like is that it's a fine line to reject the outside world. Like, you can't reject it, but you can soon-ish, maybe, come to realization that it will only teach you so much, and that it's on your job to understand your internal landscape and what happens there. So the ingesting of substances and plants and sacred medicines is a ritual that's been around for ages to help beings tune into themselves and basically become receiver for divine messages that, let's say, yes, the outside world is abuzz with it, but if we are not in commune with self as the receiver, we'll miss them. It's like the radio station will not pick up that signal. So that's why a lot of traditions will talk about going in, about the importance of self, know thyself, cleanse thyself, be understanding of what you are, who you are, and then you can operate within the wider world and wider spheres, wider fucking cosmoses at much greater depths, and abilities, and that's basically the purpose of them. Yeah. So it says here in this book, question everything, most of all yourself. If we only gave thought to what we already believe, progression and spiritual growth would cease altogether. Remember, we are all unwitting prisoners of our own assumptions. Um, yeah, push yourself as much as you push the outside world. If you're going to push beliefs in the outside world, push beliefs within yourself, within your world. Um, be prepared to shake things up, to be challenged, to take on newness, to evolve, because nothing's worse than non-evolvement in a way. Like, that's purgatory, that's just staticness, that's flatlining, that's death. And you don't need to, anyway, you don't need to stay there, but we do at times. So yeah, the Hierophant is teacher, and that can manifest in many ways. But I think the biggest advice is to be critical about what is truth, or what is of real substance and value, and how do you connect with that. One thing I'll mention quickly, I was brought up in the Baha'i faith, Persian faith of not too long ago, past couple hundred years. One of the beautiful teachings within it, from the Prophet Baha'u'llah, said, question everything, even if I have said it myself. And basically this is a principle which is loosely termed as independent investigation of truth. The prophet of the faith didn't say my word is gospel, didn't say believe blindly, said it's on you, it's your diligence and duty to question, to look for your answers, to discern what is right and good. If it's forced, if it's just accepted, if it's not questioned, not run through your own filter, then it's of little value on a deeper spiritual sense. And yeah, I think the Hierophant is a card of the process of doing that in many ways, but being open to do that and taking the responsibility, because fives again are about growth, going somewhere. It's a very big energy. I'm going to say potentially unstable, because it isn't a stable force. It's a driving force. If it was stable, it wouldn't move you places. So it's about the desire of the journey to learn, to grow, to be connected to wisdom, to source, to knowings, because that is ultimately a way that we can learn to drive our self vehicle much better and much more harmoniously within this world and worlds beyond. And I'll leave it at that and say thank you and have a great day, whether it be 4th of July for some or 5th of July. Yeah, have a good one.